The worst thing imaginable for anyone in the ocean is coming face to face with a shark. For these 10 kayakers, however, this nightmare became very real. Let's take a look at these scary encounters. It's terrifying to cross paths with a shark. But what happens when a shark decides you are the meal it's looking for? For this man fishing in the middle of the sea on his kayak, an encounter with the shark could not have been any more frightening. As the man was peacefully fishing, he noticed he was being followed by a hammerhead shark, and the shark seemed to have a personal problem with the guy. For almost 15 minutes, the man continues to fight for his life, trying to get the shark off his back. Luckily, he never lands in the water, or else the ending to this story would have been drastically different. If the last clip wasn't terrifying enough, this next video is sure to leave you shaken. Trying to catch fish in the middle of the ocean with a spear is a recipe for disaster. Apparently, this wasn't clear enough for this gentleman, who decided to fish for some yellowfin tuna with a spear right in shark territory. One thing that will always attract a shark in water is the smell of blood. So, as the man impales the tuna with a spear, the blood starts to flow. It isn't long before 2 very hungry sharks show up. The man now finds himself in grave danger. He not only needs to keep the sharks off of himself, but also the tuna, and the sharks have no intention of backing off. After a whole lot of back and forth, the man has to resort to pulling out his knife and keeping the sharks off forcefully. Fortunately, his boat shows up on time, and he is saved by the skin of his teeth. As these men were fishing on their kayaks near La Jolla, they had an unexpected encounter. A mako shark showed up out of nowhere and decided to try and bite one of the kayaks. Luckily, the men avoided any unfortunate incident and managed to fend off the shark.
Holy fuck!
In this scary encounter, we see these men busy fishing when 2 giant bull sharks showed up and decided they wanted the fish for themselves. And when a bull shark wants your fish, you offer it up without opposition. Luckily, the sharks didn't focus much on the boat, and the men managed to avoid a horrible fate at the hands of these angry sharks. In the next clip, we see some young men finding themselves at the mercy of a very angry bull shark. The men were fishing in the middle of the sea when they were attacked by a bull shark. The shark hit the kayak and almost managed to tumble over one of the boats. Fortunately, the men escaped this terrible fate and the boat stayed upright. But the shark wasn't done just yet. It bumped angrily into the boats a few times and kept the men shaking in their boots. Luckily, they managed to get out of this terrifying situation without an accident. I think by this time, we've seen a pattern you'd better be steering clear of. Don't go into deep waters on a kayak. Unfortunately, this next fisherman had not learned his lesson and ended up fishing on his kayak right in the middle of shark territory. When you're fishing, you and the shark will be fighting for common prey, so your best bet is that you find no shark nearby, or else you're bound to come face to face. This guy wasn't so lucky. As he tried to lift his fish into his kayak, a shark decided to have the fish for its own meal. It managed to take a chunky bite out of the fish, and also scared the fisherman out of his wits. Fortunately, the fisherman had only the fish to fight for, and not his life. Number 4. This man decided to spend a day at sea in his kayak. He hoped to see endless blue water, and then the sunset. But the sea had other plans for him. While peacefully enjoying his day, the unfortunate man notices a slight movement on his left. Now, sensing movement while you're supposed to be completely alone in the middle of the sea is in itself a very terrifying thought. but he didn't have much time to dwell on it, as it became clear the very next instant that he was in the company of a mighty shark. It seems like the shark was looking for fish, as it had no intention of attacking the man. It simply just crossed paths with the kayak and sent the man into the water. Although the shark never attacked the man, just this short trip into the water left him shaking with fear. Luckily, he was able to get right back onto his kayak and live to tell this story. It makes sense for a shark to attack a boat when the people are fishing. The fish attract the shark, and it attacks the kayak to get its meal. But it's all the more shocking when sharks attack kayaks without any intention of eating the person. Consider this next clip. As this man was leisurely enjoying a sunny day in the middle of the sea, he had the shock of a lifetime. When he was least expecting it, a shark snuck up on him and tried to bite his paddle. Surprisingly, the man was able to keep his composure and paddle away from the shark. The shark also didn't follow the man again or try to attack him once more. Fishing on a kayak is a pretty strange decision, considering how little space there is on a kayak. Doing so in the middle of the sea, with no immediate help available at hand, is even stranger. Consider the fisherman in this video, for example. He is busy trying to get his fish onto a small kayak, with his feet dangling in the water. He's completely engrossed in this work, and doesn't notice the tiger shark rushing towards him. With the shark just inches from his feet, the man finally notices the shark and manages to get his feet out of the water at the last moment. God knows what might have happened had the shark reached his feet a moment earlier. Would it bite his feet and leave him bleeding out in the middle of nowhere? Thankfully, we never had to find out, and the man safely went home in one piece. There's one important lesson he learned that day. Don't dangle your feet off of your kayaks, folks. In all the previous clips, the people managed to escape horrible fates even after the terrifying shark attacks. But for this unfortunate girl, an attack from a great white shark left her wounded and possibly crippled. The group of people decided to enjoy a warm day in the sea by going for a swim. Out of nowhere, a great white shark showed up, and before the people could swim back to safety, it attacked one of the girls. The girl managed to escape the sharp jaws of the shark, but only after her leg had been bitten off. Alright folks, that was all for today's video. If you liked it, make sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, tell us in the section below. We'll be back soon with another video. Until then, check out the other content on our channel